Nah, this intro is hype as fuck every single time. Before everybody wanted to be Ryan Gosling, Patrick Bateman, or even Homelander, there was Shadow the Hedgehog. Introduced in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow immediately became a fan favorite. He's like Sonic, but so much cooler. He was basically Vegeta in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, the rival of the main character. Now we all know how Sonic Adventure 2 ends, spoiler alerts, but Shadow basically sacrifices himself. Then we have Sonic Heroes. The opening scene of Team Dark has Rouge the Bat awakening Shadow, who does not seem to know his past. But that's basically all the information you need as of now. So how does the reception for Shadow's own dedicated game look? Yeah, people hated this game, but I'm going to explain why. It's one of my favorite games in the Sonic franchise. The title isn't a mistake at all. I'm going to explain why Shadow the Hedgehog is literally a masterpiece. So before we even get into the main game and what it offers, let's have a look at the box art of the game. Not only is it one of the most coldest box arts I've ever seen for a Sonic game, but what I wanted to point out was this: hero or villain? Uncover the truth about Sonic's arch rival, and we can see screenshots of our boy wielding a gun that's way too big for him and doing drive-bys. This is honestly one of the game's strong suits, and it's the fact that we're given the choice to either be a good guy and help Sonic and his friends during the invasion of the Black Arms, or be an absolute menace to society and completely doom the planet, letting the Black Arms take over, or just be neutral about the situation and kill Eggman, because we can't have a Sonic game without Eggman dying.
This is who I am. What? Goodbye, Doctor.
Yeah, it's morbid, bro. So the story's rather simple. Shadow keeps reliving a horrific scene of him attempting to escape the Ark before his friend Maria is shot. As he's doing this, the Black Arms immediately take over the city, attempting to take over the entire world. So here's where the choices come into play. You'll have two factions that give you objectives. On one side you have Sonic and his friends, who are trying to control the invasion and save the world. And on the other side, it's Black Doom, the leader of the Black Arms, who is trying to get Shadow on his side after promising him to give him all the answers of his past. You can pick either hero or villain, or just go the neutral route and collect all the Chaos Emeralds. So let's start off with the gameplay of Shadow the Hedgehog. And I've got to say, it's still fun as hell after all these years. If you like how Sonic Heroes controls, you won't be complaining about this. The levels are so unique, and there's no retelling of Green Hill Zone, so that's a plus. God bless for that. I think Westopolis is the perfect introductory level to a game of this setting.
This time. Well then, time to go and fulfill this promise.
You see the destruction of the city as you traverse through, and are immediately given the choice of joining either side or just going for your own selfish desires. It's somewhat a contrast to City Escape, replacing the joyous and free tone of that level with a more desolate and hopeless environment. How Westopolis innovates the gameplay is showing the player that there's always more than just reaching the goal ring, as you can go right past it and complete the mission that you're trying to achieve. I think my favorite level out of the bunch has to be Cosmic Fall. A stage that takes place on the Ark that's completely shattering in front of you. What I love about this stage is the fact that it's slowly building itself as you progress. Ironic, since the level is about escaping the Ark as it's falling apart. I don't think that there's a single Sonic level in history that has done this before, but I might be wrong on that. The level also takes advantage and tests your skill on how good you are with timing your homing attacks and the light speed dash on rings, as one misstep can have you falling through the atmosphere of Earth. The soundtrack is also a banger, as it expresses the urgency and haste that the player should be moving at before the time reaches to zero and the entire Ark falls. I think this is the level I have the most vivid memories of playing as a kid. There's just something about urgency in video games that always stuck with me. Another cool level to me was Air Fleet, the level where you literally have the choice of killing the fucking president. The vehicle sections are pretty cool here, and the numerous routes were always a fun touch. Sky Troops is also a banger level.
This blue sky, staring at it from afar. Have I seen it before?
Not only does it have yet another killer soundtrack, but I love having the choice of taking down these massive egg carriers. Levels where there's things just constantly happening in the background are always so cool. So most of the levels are fun and have a lot of replayability. Emphasis on that word for later in this video. But don't get me wrong, there are bad levels. Some that I spent an embarrassingly long time on to complete, but I'm also going to get to that later. My only gripe with the gameplay is the awful camera angles that the game sometimes forces you to be in. It can throw off your trajectory for jumps. I also found myself dying unnecessarily because of this. Also, the wall running in this game sucks ass. For some reason, Shadow loves falling to his death if you're at the end of a wall run. He diagonally launches himself off. Although he is shown to grab ledges, he just doesn't want to hold on to them when he's wall jumping. I also think that Shadow's base moveset is also a bit weak. He has the standard homing attack that you've seen in the adventure games and even Heroes, but he also has a spin dash and is kinda useless since it doesn't really garner any momentum and ends off very quickly. Shadow also has a combo of punches and an air kick, but I think this was a missed opportunity to add the small hurricane like in Sonic Heroes. I never actually used his punches either, since they were just so weak and the hitbox is stupidly small, so the trade-off just isn't worth it. You're half the time getting hit before you even land a punch. Shadow also has 2 unique meters that gradually fill up during the levels. If you destroy gun soldiers, his rage-filled Chaos Blast fills up, which completely obliterates everything in the area. I like this aspect since Black Doom throughout the entire game is constantly trying to give Shadow a reason to purge humanity, so he's angry as hell when this meter is filled. On the other hand, if you kill the black alien, your chaos control meter slowly fills up, which allows you to completely soar past sections of the level, which is helpful since some of these levels can range up to about 10 minutes. In boss fights, it also slows down time, giving you an advantage to hit the enemy more. Also, if you haven't already noticed, Shadow has a motherfucking gun. As much as people clown on it, I think it's cool as hell and serves a good gameplay feature and gives the game a unique vibe and stands out. There are also multiple types of guns to use in this game, so you're never really out of options. All the weapons serve their purpose. Besides the rocket launchers that don't lock on and the terrible melee weapons, you can also drive vehicles in this game, so your fantasy of performing drive-bys on innocent soldiers or aliens as Shadow the Hedgehog can finally be satisfied. So let's have a look at the story, which is where I believe most people donk on this game. Let's start off with the neutral story.
Damn, not here.
Here we have Shadow recollecting figments of his past, but he hasn't come to a clear conclusion. The struggle between Gun and the Black Arms is still present. We do get some callbacks to Shadow somewhat remembering his fate in Sonic Adventure 2, but this is completely thrown out of the window once Shadow sees his low poly counterparts and sees that he's just an android, which Dr. Eggman confirms once you fight him.
Doctor, please, I need to know. Those androids, the ones that look like me, am I? Yes. What?
Speaking of which, the boss battles in this game, oh man, pretty much all of them are easy as hell. Never had I ever struggled once on them, and I could complete them in about 20 seconds. You can either homing attack them to death or find a nearby gun and spam the square button to take them down. They even have their own unique animation once they reach half health, but don't change up their attack patterns at all. My shortest boss battle was with Eggman, which lasted about 25 seconds. Shit was easy as hell, like bro, you're not that guy bro, relax. After the first boss battle with Eggman, Shadow aims to completely finish off Eggman with the help of Omega, and he's serious.
The pieces are coming together. This ultimate life form they keep referring to is the Black Hedgehog, and he died, and I'm its copy. I must be the android Dr. Eggman created. Then it's clear what needs to be done. Doctor, you're going straight to the place you created me from. I'll make you wish you'd never created me.
After defeating Eggman, Shadow comes to accept the fact that he's an android, and he swears to become the leader of this android empire before killing Eggman. Like literally kills the guy bro. However, if you achieve the neutral dark ending, Shadow claims himself as a copy of the original Shadow the Hedgehog, but still keeps his title of the ultimate life form, and instead uses the power of the Chaos Emeralds to become stronger than him. And yeah, Eggman still dies.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald.
So this path has us completely going against Black Doom and teaming up with the OG cast of characters. Shadow has a glimpse of his true purpose after being revealed a memory with Maria, which is to protect the humans.
I'll be there, Maria. I swear. Whatever it takes. I'll take care of the Ark and the Professor.
It's also pretty sad as the only person Shadow really considered as a friend is brutally killed. So his hatred for humans can be justifiable. I'm just saying. Gon is successfully pushing back the Black Arms and they're officially on your side by the end of this. So you take the fight to the Comet, which is the stronghold for the Black Aliens. Shadow takes on Black Doom and the story ends with Shadow keeping his promise to Maria on protecting humanity. Going towards the dark route on the last level has us challenging Sonic and the leader of Gon. In this ending we've successfully pushed back the Black Aliens. After defeating him, Shadow claims himself as the ultimate Hedgehog, finally settling the score with him, which I feel like this is something he'd do. Now let's look onto the villain ending, and oh man, is this a dark ass timeline.
Death to all who oppose me.
The villain ending has Shadow hacking to the United Federation's mainframe known as cyberspace. Sounds kind of familiar, you know. The Black Arms completely overpower the humans and are now on Shadow's side, not attacking him in the late stages. Black Doom explains to Shadow that he is the ultimate life form, but the humans just don't want him to succeed, fueling his hate for them. We also witness the Ark completely firing onto the White House and messing up the city. The game later reveals in a cutscene shortly after that everybody safely evacuated, including the president. After completely going down the path of no return, we're forced to fight Sonic and Maria's friend, who is the commander of Gon. Now this man is important. He blames Shadow for Maria's death and the casualties that happened on the Ark. In one of the alternate routes of this game, he also attempts to shoot Shadow after cornering him, revealing the fact that he saw Black Doom and Gerald Robotnik creating him when he was a kid, which is why he's so convinced that Shadow is related to the Black Arms. But Shadow reveals that he doesn't truly remember who he is at this point or what even happened to Maria. It's at this point that the commander decides to let go of the revenge that he's been chasing. Keep in mind that this cutscene is revealed if you're semi-good, which I'll get into later on. But that's basically the main reason why we're fighting him and Sonic. After defeating Sonic, Shadow labels himself as humanity's destroyer, and now he's gonna fucking destroy the planet and take over the universe and all that. I don't like this ending at all. As supportive as I am for the serious and dark moments in the Sonic universe, this somewhat completely paints Shadow to be this irredeemable villain, which he is not. But I guess that's what the game is going for when you keep picking bad options the more you progress. It's kind of like the motherfuckers who hate Subway, like bro, you made the sandwich. Picking the hero route, we can see that Shadow actually takes on Black Doom and then swears to conquer the entire universe with the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form born to rule all. With the power of these emeralds, I'm going to conquer the universe. This is who I am.
There's not really any easy way of saying this, but if you mix and match the way you approach these levels by being neutral, good or bad, it unlocks a lot more cutscenes and gives a lot more context to Shadow's past. Now I can transition into the segment of the multiple endings, which there are 10 of, by the way. So without any bullshit, we're gonna go through all of them. And yes, I did complete all of them. So we have the pure hero route. Shadow basically helps Sonic defeat the Black Arms by taking on Black Doom. Now we have pure hero dark. In this timeline, Shadow defeats Sonic and becomes the most powerful hedgehog in the world. He kinda settles the score with him. Although he basically helps defeat the Black Arms with Sonic, he takes him on at the end. Then there's semi-hero hero, which I like to call the depressed Shadow ending. So after defeating Black Doom, Shadow feels remorse and sadness in regards to his creation, which Vector tries to consult him on, but Shadow just walks away. Then there's semi-hero Dark. Shadow defeats Eggman in this ending, but orders him to leave his birthplace and spends the rest of his days protecting the Ark. Now we have neutral hero. Shadow, under the assumption that he's an android, kills Eggman and takes over the android army. Omega is also here. Then there's neutral dark. Shadow, under the assumption that he's an android, kills Eggman and declares himself as the most powerful version of the original. Now we have semi-dark hero. This is basically Shadow saying he can do what he wants and just fucking kills Eggman. Now we have semi-dark dark. Shadow defeats Sonic and pledges his alliance to Black Doom, helping him turn the planet into this dark empire. Then there's pure dark hero. Shadow betrays Black Doom and declares that he will conquer the universe. Finally, we have pure dark. Shadow defeats Sonic and declares that he will basically destroy the planet. Yeah, all of these endings, it just ain't it, bro. I can't lie. The only endings I can get around is Shadow defeating Sonic and becoming the most powerful Hedgehog in the pure hero dark storyline, since he kinda did do good, but then wants to settle the score with Sonic. There's also the semi-hero dark one, with Shadow basically saying that nobody can tell him what to do and he's his own person. Now, after everything I've just been yapping on about, right? What if I told you that none of these endings were canon, and there's actually a final ending that puts rest to like everything in this story? Attaining all of these endings that I spoke about prior will grant you the true ending, the final chapter that will end the game, Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, you basically gotta play through the game about 10 separate times. Remember when I mentioned replayability? This was the first time I ever achieved the true ending. Since my PS2 port of the game had crazy long load times and my 5-year-old brain wasn't developed enough to understand that there was a secret ending to this game, I'd normally just watch YouTube videos on it and be like, nah, this is a hoax, bro, somebody's capping. But yeah, this is the true ending. So in this ending, Black Doom takes over the Emeralds from Shadow and brings the comet to Earth, revealing his secret plan all along on why he recruited Shadow to find the emeralds. Our heroes are temporarily frozen from this gas that the comet is giving off, with Shadow being the only one to break free and chase after Black Doom. So we have an extra level in the comet, which is pretty cool. We also have a time limit to chase him on. You have to rely a lot on chaos control, as there are portions of the map that just won't let you progress. Fortunately, the place is infested with aliens, so you can build up your meter very quickly. Once Shadow catches up to Black Doom, it's confirmed that Shadow is related to him, as he made a deal with Gerald Robotnik when creating Shadow. This information is revealed to the player after we get a cutscene of Team Chaotix messing with a computer system. Gerald and Maria motivate Shadow with the transmission, which has him possess the power of the Chaos Emeralds and become Super Shadow and tackle on Black Doom. You know what, as much as I slander the boss fights in this game, this one is decent. You have to target Black Doom's eye whilst avoiding the rubble and charging up Shadow's new move, which is the Chaos Spear. It's pretty challenging in the fact that you have to race to where his eye is and charge up your Chaos Spear just in time before he uses his Chaos Control to move away. And I absolutely love the interactions of the cast here too, that are motivating Shadow to defeat Black Doom. I see Shadow as the underdog of the series, who never really interacts with the main cast all too often, so to have them all cheer him on was a nice touch and show that they're on his side and all hope is on him. So after you defeat Black Doom, he falls onto the surface of the Earth. This allows Shadow to lift the comet off the Earth and yeet it at the Ark, which shreds it to pieces, saving the world from the Black Arms. Everyone cheers in celebration, and even the commander of Gun, our biggest hater, regrets ever doubting him. The world is finally at peace and our heroes are saved. We get one last cutscene of Shadow aboard the ship that is looking over the Ark. He comes to closure with himself and decides to close the door of his past life, going his own way as a character. And that is the true ending of Shadow the Hedgehog. So I had an entire section of this video that defends Shadow the Hedgehog and why it's a good game, but I just wasn't satisfied with it. There's no need for me to force the reason why I love this game on you. You're entitled to your own opinions. This game isn't everyone's cup of tea, and that's understandable. Although the game has many plot holes that conflict with the overarching story, the gameplay is still enjoyable for me, and the choice to determine your own fate for Shadow, if you're excluding the final ending, is an interesting take for a Sonic game. It's a cool way of interpreting your take on the character, but at times I do feel as if the game suffers a lot from identity crisis, and that's not just because we're uncovering the truth of Shadow's origin. Don't get me wrong, there are still so many issues with the game, such as its janky controls, camera angles and bad levels, but the fact that we even got a game about my favourite Sonic character in the first place is all I could have ever asked for. Everybody has their guilty pleasure, and mine is enjoying this game. To me, I feel as if this game stands out from all the other Sonic games that use repetitive nostalgia or the boost formula, and I'm very appreciative of having the experience to play this as a kid. I love everything about this game. Besides the levels that are based on the interior arc, I fucking hate those with a passion. Every single room on these levels are just so similar to the point where you'll be backtracking for minutes on end. Other than that, I love how unique each level is. The graphics for a game set in 2005 are also top notch, and the themes for each level are unique. I also wanted to point out how well this game branches out on its factions and portrays an all-out war between the humans, Black Arms, Eggman, and Shadow himself. I feel as if this is overlooked and just wanted to shed light on just how good it is. Although many Sonic fans tend to trash this game, I believe that Shadow the Hedgehog fulfilled its purpose of telling a unique and engaging narrative that slowly unravels itself with a cool mechanic in its gameplay, and showcases the strengths of when Sega attempts to branch out and try unique things. Thank you all for watching. I know my upload schedule hasn't been the best as of recently because I'm literally just constantly over editing and making sure everything's perfect in these videos, but I thank you all for sticking around. We're so close to 500 subscribers, so that's exciting. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.